All right, welcome to a new episode of Opening Bid Unfiltered. I'm Yahoo Finance Executive Editor Brian Sozzi here at the NASDAQ in Times Square. Looking forward to welcoming on my featured guest for this episode. That is Ankur Jain, founder and CEO of Bilt Rewards. Good to see you. It has been a while, like 3.5 years. I have not talked to you at all.
3.5 years is like an eternity.
Yeah.
In today's world of AI, it's like you may as well be 2 decades.
Always be shipping, right? Always be shipping in this field.
Well, I was just telling you, like, we used to ship on a weekly basis, and we thought we were like extremely fast. And now I'm looking at companies like Google and OpenAI are shipping daily, if not multiple times a day. I told our team, we got to step it up.
How are they doing that so fast?
I mean, it's AI. It's incredible. I mean, it's truly incredible. We are so lucky to have started the company when we did, because we were still early enough where we could implement all of our workflows on AI early. And if we were like a year or 2 later, I think we would have had so much bureaucracy and crud built into our workflows. And so we just got the benefit of capturing that, and it's been incredible.
So last time I talked to you, I was at the kitchen table, my ex-girlfriend's kitchen table in Queens during the pandemic, talking about a company called Bilt Rewards. Like, all right, the past 3 years has flown by quickly. What is this business today?
It has evolved a lot. Bilt today, we started 3 years ago when we met with this idea that rent is your biggest expense. Why can't you get rewarded on rental payments? Today, Bilt has grown into the largest membership for where you live. So today, we're rewarding you on your housing payments. We're running how you sign your leases, manage your home, and everything around your home. So I think the big realization we've had over the last 3 years was when we started with rewards on rent, all of a sudden we became the center, the anchor point of your home. Right? You would come to your Bilt app to handle your maintenance requests, pay your rent, book your amenity spaces at your apartment building. All of that was done through Bilt. And then we realized that your home doesn't really stop at the front door, right? And everything around your home, from your restaurant reservations, your gym booking, your car that you take to and from the airport, everything kind of anchors around the home. And we thought, when you're at a hotel, you have a concierge downstairs who can help you with everything in the city you're visiting. Why is your home not the anchor point for all of your commerce in your neighborhood? And so we've started expanding Bilt over the last 3 years to become the connection point between people who live in the neighborhood and all the businesses in the neighborhood. And today we have over 45,000 merchants that connect to people in their homes. We've driven over $10 billion of spend to local businesses through our platform. And our members now get rewarded on their rent payments, but also get special benefits when they're dining at local restaurants and visiting their local fitness class, all through Bilt.
Why, and I didn't get to ask you this last time, it was like a 6-minute segment, it was like live TV. Yeah, and this is a podcast, we actually have a conversation like a normal human. Like what motivated you to start this business, and why didn't others start it?
Well, first of all, ideas are a dime a dozen. So it's not like we were the first people to have this idea, right? I think any great startup, the simplest ideas tend to be the best, right? Yeah. And so, when we 2017, 2018, I had just left Tinder and was thinking about what the next problem I wanted to go after is. And at the time, it was like all this fluffy BS in Silicon Valley. I mean, it was like NFTs and like the original chatbot crap, and everybody was like, I mean, it was disheartening being in San Francisco. I mean,
and none of it was making money.
None of it was. I mean, I remember. I'll never forget. I left a meeting with a venture capitalist who was telling me they were putting $100 million into a company that was going to do digital purses on the blockchain. I mean, like, you can't make this shit.
It's like what is that even?
That is the biggest problem you can figure out how to solve right now. I mean, and I remember I walked outside. I've told this story before, but I walked outside on Market Street. And there was another VC who had just funded $200 million into electric scooters, which I also still don't get. And there was a homeless person, butt naked, on one of these bird scooters, blocking traffic on Market Street with like these electric cars honking to get by. And I was like, this is a dystopia. Yeah. San Francisco has lost its way. And I remember that day, I went out and we wrote this piece on what happened to solving big problems in housing, healthcare, student loans. But not because these are just altruistic issues. These are multi-trillion-dollar markets. Like how many, maybe NFT purses is I don't know how big that is.
I don't know if that's a thing anymore.
I don't know if that's a thing
anymore. We're dating
anymore.
ourselves.
But like, housing is $2 trillion a year of spend in just the United States, right? You have over $1.5 trillion of student loans outstanding, and these industries aren't working for consumers. And so that was the original idea, which was can we go solve one of these issues? And we decided to start with housing by creating a better way to make your money work for you as a consumer. And that was where we said rent is your biggest expense. Why doesn't it build your credit? Why doesn't it reward you? Right? Rental payments should give you access to earning rewards on travel, earning rewards in your neighborhood, giving you access to things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to afford. I mean, your housing is like a membership,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That you're locked into and you can't cancel.
Right, and well, it goes back to the credit thing. I mean, the number of people, we talked about this 3 years ago, the number of people who come out of school or who immigrate here or who come from different economic backgrounds and don't have a credit profile. And then when you try to build your credit, they say, well, you need credit to build credit.
But how do you get it?
But how do you get it?
Yeah.
You're like, well, I've been paying my rent on time every single month, and if I don't pay it, they hurt my credit. And if I pay it, nothing happens. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And so we changed that, right? And today, Bilt is the largest reporter of rental payments to the credit bureaus in the United States. We offer it for free to millions of people in this country. And that's a huge impact that it has for people who are just trying to get access to everyday financial systems.
I can't help myself. Is San Francisco back? I've been living through the new mayor's Instagram feed.
I have heard great things about the new mayor.
Okay.
I have not spent time with him personally yet, but I've heard great things.
Okay.
I wish him really well. I do not plan on leaving New York.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you also must have a very unique take on affordability in this country. Like, how do you see things?
Look, I think this is you may know some of this, but my parents were immigrants to this country. My dad grew up in a fairly poor village on the outskirts of Delhi in India. And like the story you hear often in Silicon Valley, he came here with no money and worked his way up through the American dream. And that was possible, by the way, in our parents' generation. And that's what made this country great, right? And I think today it's become harder. And what's happening is you have this growing wealth gap where it's not the bottom that's getting screwed the most. There's always been challenges at the bottom. And we have so many ways that we are working to solve them as a government, at city level, at state level. It's the middle that's getting squeezed. I mean, you see this coming out of COVID. Inflation has hit the middle the hardest because you have less exposure to equities. Your salary isn't growing up at the same level of inflation. Hourly jobs tend to have corrected faster. And yet your housing prices, your healthcare prices, all of these have just skyrocketed, right? And so the question is, one, obviously, how do you bring down prices? But more importantly, how do you help people make more income?
Yeah.
And how do you give them more for every dollar they spend?
Because prices aren't coming down.
No, they're not.
They don't come down.
I don't buy that. Obviously, there are people in New York City who disagree with me on that. But I think there is an opportunity, especially the one counteracting force to all of this is AI. And the amount of productivity that we can generate per individual now in this country with new AI technologies is substantial. And so when people are so worried about jobs going away, I have a different view, which is this might be the only way that we can increase income on a per individual basis. Because if all of a sudden same companies can generate more output, you're not hiring less people. You're just creating more output.
Yeah. Are you seeing within, God only knows how much data you get, but are people, how are they doing with their rent payments?
Rent payments
right now.
Historically rental payments have retained, it's your top of your payment stack. I mean, it's your home.
Yeah.
And so you today are still seeing rent payments continue to be made on time, even during COVID, which was the worst possible time for people collecting rent on that side and people having to pay rent. You still saw 85, 90% on-time payment rates. And so we see that the big thing that is promising is rental prices are stabilizing. And so while for the last couple of years you've been seeing them go up consistently, you're now seeing stabilization and you're seeing property owners start to give incentives and concessions again. And a lot of that, by the way, is not even driven by less demand from people moving into cities. It's that people are actually staying home with their parents, people are living with roommates.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's a real thing. Like you spend 1 year at home with your parents,
I mean,
you
that's
save
massive money.
$30,000 in savings.
I couldn't live with my parents. I could just, actually just thinking about living with my parents right now is freaking me out, dude. Thanks for bringing that up. But is that, if you're under 30 right now, is it realistic that you will own a home?
Short answer is At this very second, home prices are still too high.
Right?
But that doesn't mean that there's not a path for the first time for this audience to buy a home. And I think one of the things that we have been working on at Bilt is, as part of this membership for where you live, you're earning rewards on rental payments, you're building your credit history, and you're actually building a path to home ownership. And so when we look at this today, there's a few different challenges with home ownership. One of them is just honestly transparency. It is so hard to understand how much a home costs and what you can afford.
Yeah.
Like
You're just buried in digital paperwork.
it's digital paperwork, but like, think about this. You spend your whole rental life going from, my rental cost is $2,000 a month in rent. And then they say, you want to buy a home? It's $500,000. And you go, whoa. How does that math that up? And I'm a Wharton guy, and it took me a long time to understand the different loan options and how much you put down and your interest rates and what that means. And it's just so complicated. And so number one is actually just simplifying and creating transparency. So one of the things that we worked with Fannie, Freddie, and FHA on was, can you just tell somebody, for this much that you're paying in rent, here are the homes that you can afford to buy today, all in.
Sounds like
my
a
mortgage payments,
great.
my principal, my interest, my insurance costs, my HOA costs, taxes. Just put it all together for me and show me homes so that I can compare. And then let me decide how much of savings do I want to put up front and show me the different options. Because most people don't realize there are programs like first-time home buyer programs where you can put 3% down. That's far more affordable than having to come up with 20% down.
Wait, really? 3%? I gotta make a note. That's pretty good.
And that's the thing, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, these programs exist, but nobody knows about them. And it's also hard to know the trade-offs. Like, there are trade-offs to what's better for you. So just making it simple and saying, hey, every year when you're looking for your apartment renewal, here are your options to renew your apartment. And by the way, here are rewards you can get if you sign a lease at one of these apartment buildings. Or hey, you're ready to buy a home. Here are the homes you can afford, and here's how that same $2,000 a month compares in home ownership in New York versus Washington, D.C., versus Dallas versus Chicago. And it's all in, because what you don't realize is the same $500,000 home in Chicago can cost you double the price as it may in Dallas.
Yeah.
Because you've got city taxes, state taxes, insurance requirements. And so it's just so confusing and complicated. Yeah. And none of that should be the case. I mean, that's part of this idea of a membership with Bilt. We just take care of everything for you in and around your home.
All right, hang with us. We're going to go off for a short break. We'll be right back on Opening Bid Unfiltered. All right, welcome back to Opening Bid Unfiltered here at the NASDAQ in Times Square. So I read some story. Maybe I have it wrong, maybe I don't. That you think you could build your company with, what, 200 employees?
So we're at... Well, yes and no.
So much crap floating out there in the area. I'm like, I got to ask about this because I don't even know how that's possible.
So I do think one of the biggest things that scares me every single day, you look at these companies who have been founded by people we're friends with, some of the smartest people in the world, and I do business with these companies. And I sometimes sit there and ask, when and how did this company become so bloated, bureaucratic, inefficient? Like, where happened to that hunger to just change things for the better? I wake up petrified every day as Bilt has gone from zero to an $11 billion company, that could be us one.
It's $11 billion now?
Yeah. So that's, it's been an amazing growth story, but it's scary. Every day we ask ourselves, like, what caused those, what can we learn to do things differently? I think one of the challenges is that over time, as you're especially in hyperscale, companies start throwing bodies at problems instead of solving the problem in a more efficient way. Yeah. And you get it. You're like growing really fast, throw somebody at the problem and deal with it later.
And they create 5 more Google Docs.
And next thing you know, you have meetings on meetings to discuss the meeting, to discuss the next meeting, to discuss the approval of the next meeting's plan.
Right? Yes.
And so what we have done is we've decided the sweet spot for a startup is 25 to 30 people, right? That's where everybody has clear ownership. Like, if something breaks, who's responsible? Yeah. You go home and you know that I am responsible for getting X done. You don't have silos of engineering versus marketing. Like, one of the challenges at big companies is, you've heard this, I'm sure even here, like, marketing blames engineering blames product blames sales. Everybody starts to create these little fiefdoms, right? But when you're a startup, you're literally sitting in a room together. and you're creating the roadmap together, and you're talking to the client together, and you're listening to each other, and you're just a team. There is no divisions. You're one team, right? And so the way we run Bilt is as mini startups. So every business line is capped at 25 people. And every business line has their own GM, head of product, head of marketing, head of engineering, and they just build a mini team and they run.
Yeah.
And that has allowed us to scale. So the company has scaled in terms of the business lines we're in. We now have a major business line in the restaurant and hospitality world. We provide them a customer experience platform like we did for housing and a way to connect with local residents. That's a huge business line for us, and it's run by its own team. But that team is still capped to move fast, and so they run like a startup.
I imagine AI in this business is going to have a profound impact. How so?
So for Bilt, it's already been at the core of how we do things internally, and we've started to roll out. I actually just shared this with all of our members at the beginning of the year, but we have now finally been able to, the dream for Bilt has been you have this concierge as a member that handles everything in and around your home, right? Just like a hotel. Like I want the feeling of moving into your apartment to be like checking in at your favorite destination hotel. You walk in, they say, here's the key to your room. Would you like us to get you a restaurant reservation at our restaurant downstairs? You walk in, you charge it to your room. They already know who you are. They take care of the drinks because you're staying for 5 days. You go to the spa, they have your account on file. You have $100 of credit because you booked through your online American Express or whatever. All of that seamlessness, imagine that for your neighborhood. And so that's what we've just started rolling out. You move in, you sign your lease with Bilt, you pay your rent with Bilt, you get rewards. You can ask your concierge to handle a maintenance issue. You can ask your concierge to give you a restaurant reservation down the street. You can have the concierge arrange a car to take you from the apartment to the restaurant. And because we're powering the customer experience platform for all, like for Lyft and for restaurants and for gyms and fitness studios and pharmacies, we can interconnect it as if it's one ecosystem.
Why doesn't like an Amex do this?
Well, Amex is in a different business. I mean, Amex is in the credit card business, and they're in the banking business, right? And we are not a credit card company. We are not a bank. We are a commerce platform built around your home.
Where's PayPal been? Like, where are these companies? This sounds like such a big, like, amazing opportunity.
I mean, I think, look, those guys are building payment methods and banking products, and we obviously partner with banks, right? We partner with banks on branded products, co-branded products like Bilt co-brand cards, the way that Gap has like a Gap card. We partner with banks to drive acceptance of American Express cards and Visa cards and MasterCards in your apartment buildings, in your neighborhoods. I think it's just a different business. Like we're providing customer experience end to end. I mean, if you're a restaurant today, like the best restaurant groups have full-time staff just dedicated to remembering your preferences, making sure when you get seated, they bring you your favorite item, to take it off the check. We can orchestrate that for a local business in a way that wasn't possible before. We can orchestrate that for an apartment building. And the winner is our members, right? Who now get seamless rewards and benefits everywhere in their neighborhood, the way a hotel would give you everywhere in the hotel property.
I've been talking a lot over the past 6 months with various venture capitalists, lots focused on tech, and they don't sound as excited when they talk to founders about like going public. It doesn't have that same allure maybe it once did. Are you excited about? Is that an event that you like? Yeah, that's going to happen. I can't wait.
No. I mean, like, we'll go where is bright for our investors, but that's never been a goal for us. I think this is now my third startup. I've learned a lot the hard way, right? You go through the challenges, you go through the ups, the downs. I've been through all the painful ups and downs of a startup. When you get something like Bilt that has the opportunity to create so much impact for a consumer's everyday life, that touches not just one piece, like it's very narrow, but can transform the way they live at their apartment, the way they go to their local restaurants, the way they go to local, like all these different spaces, that's something you want to run for 10, 20, 30 plus years. And so as long as we're focused on the product experience, and we've been very disciplined this time around, like we run our business lean, right? We have low head count. We have
25 people per
right,
team. I mean, this is good.
We have the vast majority of all the capital we've ever raised sitting in a bank account.
That was huge. What did you raise? 250 million?
Yeah, I think
it's huge.
We have
evaluation at 11 billion. It's massive.
We're very fortunate. We have short of $1 billion sitting in our bank accounts that we can use for
hiring.
Major.
No.
Whether it's investing in technology or buying companies or just a war chest for when we need it.
Yeah.
But by being lean, being focused, we've removed that pressure of needing to go public. Mm-hmm. And as a result, we've created this idea where if we want to go public, we can. If we want to offer recurring secondary type markets, which even, by the way, the big public exchanges, including NASDAQ, have now been facilitating exchanges for more private securitization swaps.
Sure.
So all of those allow us to give liquidity to investors, even buying it off our balance sheet if we need to, without the pressure to go public.
Lastly, starting a business and running it is not easy. I don't have to tell you this, but as you look back over the past 5 years of doing this, or even longer, what was that oh shit moment? Meaning that what was that moment where you're like, oh wow, I'm never going to do that again?
We have a lot of those every day. You're constantly learning. That's the part I love about this business specifically. There are companies where if I was running those businesses, I would be waking up every day thinking, how do I sell this for the maximum dollar and get out?
Yeah.
And that's just the reality. There's some businesses I find boring. This business has given us a platform to solve problems that I get so excited about every day. We just launched mortgage this month. That has been so much fun to work on. I've learned more about how the path to homeownership works through this process and all these inefficiencies. And because we're now a platform at scale, we can pull the right stakeholders into a room and go solve it. The mortgage origination process does not have to be so painful.
Are you competing with a Rocket now?
No, we work with all these players.
Gotcha.
So and our biggest partner in mortgage is United Wholesale Mortgage, UWM.
Shout out Matt Ishbia.
Matt has been an unbelievable partner. Matt they invested $100 million into the company. They've been incredible. Mr. Cooper is also an investor in the business, which is part of Rocket. So but Matt has been a massive champion for how do we create the best customer experience.
One of the most energetic guys I've ever talked to in my life.
The guy runs, I don't know how he's able to run the Phoenix Suns. He runs every decision there, and he runs every decision at UWM, and those are just two of his entities. It's incredible. It's inspiring.
Well, look, let's not be a stranger here. Please come back, quicker than 3 years.
Yes,
I appreciate it. Really look forward to staying in touch. Ankur, thanks so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much.
Nice to see you, man.
All right, that's it for the latest episode of Opening Bid Unfiltered here at the NASDAQ in Times Square. We'll talk to you soon.